it appears that there's been a shift in police priority. Like they're taking less and less risk. Like it's almost that they're being taught you don't take your chance with your life at all. Like if there's any chance that that something bad could happen, you shoot.
Oh, no
Like
doubt.
there's no more bravery. It's almost like the cops, the police values of 50 years ago of you're putting your life in the line, you're protecting and serving, you're doing what you can have to do to protect the community. So yes, you're taking a little bit of a risk, but that's the job. It seems, I don't know if it's taught at the top or whatever, but it's because it's happening in so many cities that they're being taught something different where you don't take any chance with your life anymore. If there's a 1% chance of possible bodily harm to you, you take your gun out and shoot and end it immediately.
That's the way to ensure safety. If you destroy the threat, if you destroy the potential threat, if you destroy the suspect, you can't be injured.
But where is that coming from?
It's taught. It's taught. Look, you have a wife, you have kids. You want to go home to your wife at the end of the day. You protect yourself at all costs.
But these seems like new values they're being taught. This isn't. Is this a new thing?
That is being taught. Obviously, in a lot of states, the police have this fear because they don't know if the person they're detaining is armed.
But they've always had that fear. What's going on today?
But there are more guns now.
More guns, more people have cell phones to capture these things and post them on YouTube. I don't know, the whole lot has changed.
Well, why? What's
That's a good point.
I'm trying to figure out what's causing police to be so trigger happy these days. It seems to be
impulse control.
Is it now? Is that now? What's causing that? Are they being taught that at the top, where zero risk? Like you don't take any risk. Just like you said, you have a family. If you sense any danger, which could just be a black face, you take out the danger immediately.
That seems to be what's being taught.
I'm taught right.
And like Brittany said, a lot of it is everybody's walking around with a cell phone. They all have cameras. So the things that have happened in this country that nobody knows about, because there's no video, there's no evidence of it.
And people are bringing it more to issue now, I think, because it's in the news and the media much more. So every time something happens, it gets a lot of attention, as opposed to maybe 10 years ago.
And here's something that might be along the racial line, is that it seems like black people have known this whole time that police lie, and white people are like, they do, and it's like cell phones are revealing this, and they're stunned, they're shocked, they can't believe it.
And it's not enough to win. You can have a video of police misconduct, but if there's any way to rationalize the way that the things happen, or there's any way to rule for the police, people are going to side with the police because people need the police to feel safe.
It seems like racism deniers is a pretty strong thing. Like, even if there's a video, it's like they don't want to believe it. They really don't want to believe it. They won't even look at the evidence in front of them. They would rather just deny, and the cops are innocent. I don't want to hear anymore. And it's almost that kind of.
That's right. Unless you have a racial slur.
Unless there's a racial slur.
If you have a racial slur, it changes everything because it makes people uncomfortable.
And it's easy.
Simple.
It's simple.
Yeah.
There you go.
People have lost their jobs for making a racist remark.
Yeah.
People have lost their job for noting something that's obvious because it's politically incorrect. It has a racial tinge to it.
And it just seems like a cop-out. It just seems like the easy way out. Like that NBA owner lost his team, multi-million-dollar team, because he said something in the privacy of his own home.
And because it was a racial slur.
It was a racial slur in the privacy of his own home. But what are we doing here? Like, that just seems like a violation of rights in itself.
And it was caught on tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have those two things, you're going to make a lot of people uncomfortable.
It reminds me of, in the political sphere, like, if you don't like something, you compare it to Hitler. It's almost like, we all agree we hate Hitler, right? It's like, it's the easiest thing to we all agree we hate Hitler, don't we? So he's Hitler, so he's bad. And it's like that those simple terms way of presenting something, like the N-word. It's just such a simple, we all agree that's bad, right? So therefore, that's easy to take care of.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Donald Trump announces candidacy for the presidency and said every possible conceivable bad thing about Mexicans you can think of.
So that was pretty bad.
And the general public and the general media just blew it off
Yeah.
like it's nothing. Because he didn't use a racial slur.
And because no one gives a shit about what he says. He's completely crazy.
Well, some people do.
All those people he had at his rally,
Like actors.
he paid for.
Yeah. But, you would think the media, would be saying, how are you going to run a campaign this negative? But they completely ignored it.
Because no one thinks it's actually going to happen.
Now, if he had said something racial in that announcement, that would have been all over the media.
It's funny, back in, I think in 2008 when Barack Obama was running, and they kept asking him, like, so you're not doing so well among, poor, I think it was in West Virginia, these poor whites, and you're doing really poorly with them. How are you gonna, what does it say about your message or whatever? You're clearly doing poorly. I almost was thinking, why don't they just ask him, so you're doing really poorly with racists? How are you gonna fix that? Anyway.
Well, against their own self-interest, they're racist.
I know, like people don't want to say these things, but it's just obvious. But people can't say that. A reporter can't ask that question. And it's just like no one's gonna say that Donald Trump is saying racist things. That's just Donald being Donald, isn't that? What are you gonna do? It's almost unless they use
right.
an obvious racial
Racist slur, and then the world comes to an end. It's like, oh no.
Fascinating.